permits new phenomena by adding degrees of freedom to the previously achieved degrees of freedom. So the first era in novelty theory is hypothesized to be 72 billion years long, far longer than modern astrophysics needs for any process it looks at. The fight there is whether the universe is 12 or 16 billion years old. But 72 billion years is enough turnaround time on your disk to get the whole thing in. Well, so that's the era of physics, and it extends from the beginning of the universe until the beginning of the next cycle of closure. And it's, I don't know, something like 1.4 billion years. It's 72 divided by 64. And it's the era of nucleic acid and the degrees of freedom that it permits. And then the next level is something else. And then the next level is something else. And you do these divisions for about 6 times, and you get down to an era 67 years and change long. And I think that we're inside that epoch. It stretches from the atomic bomb blast over Hiroshima to the moment of the winter solstice of 2012. And inside each cycle, all the themes of the previous larger cycle are recapitulated in a different octave, if you want to put it that way. In other words, the drama is replayed, but on different scales and with different actors. After the 67-year cycle, which, if you're wondering where are we in that cycle in terms of the previous large cycle, which was 4,300 years long, we've reached a period of time shortly after the Norman conquest of England. So one of the reasons the future is so opaque is that, some of us are painting ourselves blue and running around speaking Middle English and worrying about what the Venerable Bede has on his mind. There's a lot of stuff that we have to go through to close with the eschaton. An era will come of 384 days that I call the year of the jackpot, because all hell will tear loose. It will be a year in which the previous 67-year cycle, the previous 4,000-year cycle, and all the larger cycles preceding will all be reprised in furious miniature. A sort of a year like a long Bugs Bunny cartoon running backwards, a year of explosions and falling anvils. And at the end of that year of the jackpot, there will be a 6-day period where now even the most lumpen among us will have grasped the principle that something weird is going on. It's at this point that they'll send a helicopter for me to explain it all to the General Assembly. The apparent meltdown of the space-time continuum. Well, but the funny thing about this kind of a cosmology, it strikes me as amusing, is see how we've come down through these condensing declensions that are shorter and shorter, and each one gets wilder and wilder. Well, if you assume the bottom floor of time is Planck's constant, which is 6.55 times 10 to the minus 23rd erg seconds, technically 1 jiffy. If you think that we don't go deeper than the jiffy level into time, then when you are an hour and 35 minutes from the jiffy epoch, the universe still has half of its morphological unfolding ahead of it. This is the mind-boggling thing. This is why when people ask the question, what will happen at the singularity, I just wave them off, because it's like trying to see around 8 corners at once. In the last hour and 35 minutes of this hypothesized universe that I'm talking about, it will go through more change, more morphogenetic unfoldment, more interconnectivity than it has experienced in the previous 72 billion years of its existence. Now, people say, whoa, but that's crazy. How could something like that happen? Well, excuse me, wait a moment. You know what the straight people are selling? They're selling that the universe sprang from nothing, for no reason, instantly. Well, now, I submit to you that this is the limit case for credulity. If you believe that, my family owns a bridge over the Hudson River that we will sell you very, very cheaply. The idea that the universe could spring instantly from nothing for no reason is, they're just saying, test them with this, Charlie. If they'll buy that, what wouldn't they buy, for crying out loud? And this is tenet 1 of science. Essentially what science is saying is, give us one free miracle. One free miracle, and we can just work with that. We can unfold that, invest that, fold it back, expand it, comment on it, copy it, verify it. So then apparently you get one free miracle when you play this game, the how does it all work game. Well, then I'll take my miracle at the end, thank you. It seems to me that a miracle is far more likely to arise out of a very complex situation, a situation where you have physics and computers and civilizations and superconductivity and planets and stars and oceans and gases and plasmas and da-da-da-da-da-da. A miracle, you might shake a miracle out of such a rich and juicy mix, but to get a miracle out of nothing, this is bizarre. Everyone, hands. Yes, yes.
This singularity, whatever it may be, affects your daily life now. You're building a house or saving the planet.